What is going on, all my horror movie loving maniacs out there? It's your boy Preston, PhatSamuraiGuy, back again with another horror movie review. Hanging out with me is the one and only Lady PhatBlood. What's going on?
Hi.
You know, all we got to say is, or all I have to say, but I'm sure you agree with me. You know, it's just, it's so nice to watch a good movie. Right,
you know, it's nice to watch a good horror movie.
Yes,
and
yes.
One that isn't full of pretentious garbage.
Yeah.
And full of the director's own vanity, like a certain other Exorcist type of film that came out last year.
The body and the blood. The body and the blood. The body and the blood. Yeah. You guys know which Exorcist movie that came out last year. You know which one we're talking about. That garbage. Well, anyway. Speaking of not being garbage, we just finished over the weekend, watched it on Shudder, good old Shudder, one of the best horror movie streaming services, Late Night with the Devil.
Oh my God.
And do you like that?
Oh my God.
That was impressive, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, some death metal shit.
Deal with you later. So.
Oh, it turned her on. It's fun. But yeah, here is the plot synopsis for that movie. A live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. Yes. Directed by?
I'm assuming they're brothers, Colin and Cameron, either Cairns or Cairns.
Okay.
Not sure how to.
Starring the one and only
David Desmalchian, and I probably butchered that too, because that's what I do.
And I think
also known as Hey, It's That Guy. One of the many Hey, It's That Guys. Now, I remember first seeing this guy, as I'm sure a lot of people remember from The Dark Knight, as one of the henchmen of the Joker with the crazy eyes. And he's just one of those guys that just pops up every now and then, pop quite frequently, and you just go, oh, hey, it's that guy.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have to learn his name now. Because after this, leading man status.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, well deserved.
In a low budget independent with God, we were laughing hysterically at the amount of people like studios, independent studios involved with this.
Yeah. Oh my
production companies, I should say, not studios. Companies.
It felt like there were 30 before the movie actually started.
And by the time the movie started, we're like, oh, is this the movie or is this another production company? You couldn't tell.
It's all good. But David was great.
Yeah. You know, it's nice to see people who grind away and are kind of like, I don't want to say bit parts, but they're character actors. Yes. And there's nothing wrong with a character actor.
No.
You know, sometimes they're like the backbone of the industry when it comes to, being solid. That's what they do. They're supporting actors. But yeah, he held his own in this movie, and the kind of movie that this was, you had mentioned this.
Yeah.
In terms of casting.
Yeah, the one thing. Don't forget him. Playing,
Polkadot Man.
Polkadot Man, also in Suicide Squad.
Yes.
The Suicide Squad.
Okay. Well, yeah. Because there is a difference.
And yeah, he was kind of wasted in the last voyage of the Demeter.
I don't even remember that movie.
Yeah, solid horror flick, but it was really disappointing in terms of gore and scares and all that stuff. But still, a lot better than The Body and the Blood. The Body and the Blood. Fucking Exorcist bullshit last year. Anyway.
Yeah.
He was in Dune as well. Yeah, great actor. But the one thing, the strongest point to me, one of the strongest points I mentioned after we got done watching the movie and we really enjoyed it, was this film's, again, you guys know that I'm enjoying the whole one location genre a lot more. That type of genre, for the most part, this is one location. For the most part, they do travel outside of the live studio set for a few scenes here and there, and a little bit of documentary, shots to kind of throw in, to kind of, to make it feel like it's the 70s. They kind of have this intro narrated. I think it sounded like Michael Ironside.
It was Michael Ironside.
Okay, awesome.
So the way that the movie sets up is it's kind of like this documentary style. Oh, hey, this thing happened in 1977.
Yeah.
And this is the footage that we found. And there's also behind the scenes stuff going on in between, televised events. And so that beginning documentary style serves also as an exposition dump, where you learn about the Jack Delroy character, his history with the show, his rivalry with Late Night with Johnny Carson. And that's a really old TV host for those of you who have no idea who Johnny Carson is.
Yes.
He was a television late night host for years and years and years and years.
The king.
Before Jay Leno. Some of you don't even know who Jay Leno is anymore, probably. Before the SNL guys took over, let's just put it that way. I'm not sure who's taken. I don't know who has the Tonight Show anymore. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that Michael Ironside narration in the vein of documentary style serves also as the exposition dump, telling you how Jack Delroy, what he was involved with. There's a little bit of shenanigans that don't want to really give anything away, but there's some shenanigans that he was possibly involved with, and what did he do to get the success that he did, but he could never quite get the success that Carson had, and that's kind of his driving force. And then he goes through some stuff, tries to make a comeback, and we're set up with the premise of the film, which is what we see. It's filmed in a way that, okay, you've got the one set of footage that is the show, and then you got the one set of footage looking a little bit different, which is
behind the scenes footage
during commercial breaks is what is how it's framed.
Yes.
And so he gets this like paranormal style like theme for the show because it's Halloween.
Yeah.
And so he gets this alleged psychic, a skeptic who used to be a magician, and then this doctor who has this girl with her that survived a cult mass suicide. I think is the easiest way to put that. And there we have our show, and there we have our movie. Right. And what you were saying about the casting.
Right. Yeah. So back to it. I kind of segued somewhere else. I'm all over the place here, but the strongest, again, great atmosphere. They nailed the whole 70s TV show vibe.
Right.
They totally nailed it. The cheesy, horrible, late night talk show, TV show, comedic puns and bits and shenanigans and skits and all that stuff. But the strongest point, one of the strongest points that I mentioned when we got done watching this, that this film nails all of the acting from everyone, even the little girl that played the character of Lily. All of the acting was phenomenal. Everybody, even the backstage people, did great.
Yeah.
All right. All of the acting and the performances from the main cast were phenomenal. Everyone killed it. Everyone is extremely talented, and huge props to everyone. But this movie benefits from not having any recognizable stars, any recognizable faces of the horror community. And I mentioned to you that I think it would have taken us, because we were fully absorbed. We went all in. We're like, fuck it. It's a little bit of found footage, a little bit of documentary, a little bit of, but we're having a blast being absorbed in this world. Let's go for it. Right.
Right.
I think it really would have taken us out if the skeptic Gus. No, not Gus. Gus was the side character. But if the skeptic was played, I'm trying to find the actor. Where is he? Anyway, the actor that plays the skeptic, that skeptic character, which is my favorite character in the movie, by the way,
right?
Because he's hilarious. Right. He's so good at being a dick.
Right.
That character. What if that was played by Bruce Campbell?
Right.
Would have completely taken us out of the movie, right? What if Gus, the sidekick of Jack for the talk show, what if Gus was played by Patton Oswalt?
Right.
Completely taking us out of the movie.
Yeah.
And I feel, Jack's wife was played by a horror
Barbara Crampton.
Barbara Crampton or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think us seeing any recognizable actors from the horror community would have completely taken us out of the film and the believable aspect of it. And I think this movie really benefits not having, besides Jack being more than, David being more than, hey, it's that guy.
Yeah.
We recognize him for the most part. But other than that, there's no big, huge, superstars or horror icons, like the black cameraman in the back, right? The cameraman in the back.
Right.
What if that was played by Tony Todd?
Right.
Would have completely taken us out of it. And we love all of the people I'm mentioning.
Yeah, and
we're huge fans for all of the horror icons.
And movies like that, that's fine to have movies like that when you have the fun cameos.
Yeah.
As long as the movie's more either tongue in cheek or, wink wink, that sort of thing. But that's not what this movie was.
No.
This movie was very sincere in trying to tell a fun little, not fun, but a period piece style of, hey, this little slice of 70s feel to it.
Yeah.
And that's what the movie was trying to do. The movie was trying to feel like this thing that they were trying to take pretty seriously.
Right.
And I think it nailed it. I think it did it so well. And again, having all these solid, reliable cast, this cast that they chose, and not relying on, oh, hey, look what we got. Look who we got here. Like we got Tobin Bell as the skeptic or some shit like that.
And the producer in the back that always jumping on Jack's case.
Right.
What if that was Robert England?
Right. Yeah. And, again, there's nothing wrong with movies that have that kind of atmosphere and have that fun. Oh, hey, it's that, it's that person,
Right.
It's fine to have that, but this type of movie, they were wise in going the route that they went with and trying to make it more grounded as much as you can ground a story like this, you know?
Yeah.
So,
but great build up, great suspense building, some fun gore effects,
right?
Not a lot of gore. I mean, it's not like it's this huge massacre or anything like that,
right?
But it's just done so well.
Yeah, and it's tight. It's a cool 93 minutes.
Yeah,
which it's almost unheard of for theatrical releases. And I don't know where we went backwards. I guess people want their money's worth, but the problem with all these 2-hour plus movies, and again, I have no problem sitting down and watching 3 hours and 30 minutes of a Lord of the Rings extended edition or Once Upon a Time in the West. I have no problem watching a good 3-hour plus film,
right?
But not every movie needs to be 2 hours 30, 2 hours 45, because then what you get is you get bloating.
Yeah, you
get things that drag you down. You get things that make the movie just feel like it's okay. I want it to be over. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with having these short run times that get everything you need right in front of the camera. Tighten it up, like tell the story, get in and get out. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I feel like we don't see enough of it anymore. Like I feel like the 93 to
bring it back.
Yeah, like the 90 minute to 100-minute movies are like for straight to video or straight to streaming now. And you rarely see this under 2-hour mark anymore. It's nice to see it. It flew by, and it was a really fun watch. When I say fun watch, this isn't a fun, oh, hey, a fun horror movie. It's fun in how we define what it is to have a fun time at the movies, where you see all the effort on the screen.
Yes.
You see all the time that, you see the people giving a shit. And that to us is a fun time. Because when the filmmakers care and it's clear that they cared
on screen and
they nailed it for us, that's a fun time for us.
No, well said. The ending, obviously we won't spoil. I would love to spoil the shit out of this movie, but we don't have time. We want other people to watch the movie. Now, the ending, will you think that will leave people divided? We had no issues with the ending, but will you think people will be like, huh?
I think some people, because some people, they don't want a film where you kind of have to stop and go, wait, is that what happened, or is this what happened, or is it up to interpretation, or what you see is what you get? Some people don't like that. Nothing wrong with that,
right?
And then some people are really good with stuff like that, and they can talk about it for weeks about if they want. Go to a discussion board and say, what do you think happened here? What do you think happened there? Is it completely clear cut? It's up to you. So yeah, some people aren't going to really dig that. Some people might not dig the it's not necessarily found footage, but some people might not dig the whole structure, the framing of the movie. But yeah, the ending, I could see some people being like, no, screw this. Absolutely not.
Right. But we enjoyed it. We got it.
Yeah,
for the most part, but we just wanted to bring that up. I mean, some people might be like, yeah, but here I want to, before we give our rating, because again, we can't really talk anymore about the movie because if we were going to go into spoiler territory,
right?
But I was going somewhere with this. Here, this is really important. The hype train. Don't be absorbed by that shit. Okay. All right.
Oh, was there a lot of hype around this?
There was a lot of hype.
Oh.
When OGP went to see it in the theater, the first thing he said was, all right, let's see if it lives up to the hype.
Oh, dear.
Right. But he came out of the theater happy.
Yeah.
But that was his experience.
Right.
So the only thing I heard, again, in terms of the hype train, was I heard that this did very well last year playing at festivals. And the buzz built and word got around.
Okay.
Which in a way is kind of a minor hype train, but just enjoy yourself. That's all we have to say. All right. Like when I just like, oh, this is getting some buzz. I definitely want to check this out. Right.
Okay.
But I went in still blind to it. Like, I don't even think I watched the trailer for this. So I went in blind and just was like, you know what? I really want to watch this. Let's enjoy ourselves. Hopefully we get a nice, good time at the movies, aka at home.
Yeah.
And hopefully this nails what the directors and the filmmakers were trying to do, and the actors and everybody working hard. And in our opinion, they nailed it. So yeah, just don't listen to the hype. Go in and try to enjoy it for yourself. And let us know. Let us know in the comments below. Overrated, crap, garbage, well done. Let us know. Let us know what you thought of Late Night with the Devil. But let's go ahead and rate this sumbitch and wrap it up for today.
Yeah, I think I'd go for solid A-.
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 Look at that. C is average on the channel. Phat Samurai Guy. I'm going to go with an A- as well.
Okay.
Very well done. This just renews our faith in the horror genre.
Yeah. So
and it's just, again, look at the budget this movie had. Compare it to the $1 billion purchase. I think it was in the billions. I might be incorrect on that. But the $1 billion purchase to buy the Exorcist franchise. What we looking at? She just looked up Rotten Tomatoes now.
The Exorcist Believer. That's the score for Exorcist Believer.
Wow. I'm surprised the score from the critics
pretty low.
is that low
So
for Exorcist Believer.
We didn't really talk.
I think everybody would have been sucking Exorcist Believer's dick.
Did you ever talk about Exorcist Believer on the channel?
We were going to on our best to worst video. That it seems like we're getting too far away from that from last year. We still might do that though.
We were so irritated with that movie, with Exorcist Believer.
Body in the blood
for a lot of reasons. And it's, if that's your cup of tea, that's your cup of tea. We're not going to see eye to eye on this.
The director ditched the project,
but it's
that's just, all you have to say. That's all that's needed.
But
to say
that's what I'm talking about.
The director said, "Fuck this, I'm out."
When it comes to, and again, I don't have the greatest. I don't want to say relationship, but David Gordon Green, I'm sorry if you enjoyed the Halloween trilogy that he did. Good for you. I'm happy for you.
Yes.
You got something out of it I could not possibly get out of it. I didn't like what he did with it. Now, I'm not saying,
it has its fans.
I'm not saying that I did. I'm not saying I hated everything about it, but I think that
there was potential there.
Yeah. By the time the third movie rolled around, I was so just like, please, dear God, I'm done with this. I'm over with this. And hearing that he might have been involved in Hellraiser at some point, and then
like a TV series or something like that.
He was doing this. I'm like, well, I mean, okay, fine, whatever. But I'm not excited by anything that he's up to.
Yeah.
And this movie, the Exorcist Believer film.
Yes.
It just dripped of pretentious. We have this message, we're trying to do something meaningful, and yes, look at how important this is. And I was just like, no, you know what? It's a horror movie. You're never, because of the time that we live in, you are never ever going to be able to capture the feel that the original Exorcist had, because it came out in a time where you just didn't do shit like that. You didn't have a little girl in demon makeup spouting obscenities and violating religious imagery. Let's just put it that way, because you don't want to get demonetized here.
Right.
You didn't have that back then.
No.
But 50 years ago, it's different. It's a different story now. You have to if you want to really do something interesting, you can't just make the first movie, but now we've got 2 little girls, and you know we have this, you know, blah 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 blah. You know, it's just I couldn't stand the film.
The shock value wasn't even close.
No,
it wasn't even close to being as shocking as the original. Not even close.
And not even characters that I could get behind. I didn't like anybody in that film. All the characters, I was just like, I don't like any of you. I don't give a shit if you guys get taken over, possessed. Pazuzu calls in Cthulhu and y'all have a demon orgy party. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care about the little girls. I don't care about anybody. And to have that experience, and then it really kind of just like made me dislike mainstream horror even more.
Yes.
And then we had that one, was it Spanish movie? The possession film that came out last year.
Was it Where Evil Lurks?
Right. Okay.
When Evil Lurks.
So you had like that, which came out of nowhere for us, come from a whole other, not even in the Hollywood studio system, not has nothing to do with us, nothing to do with Hollywood.
Foreign film.
See something like that, and it's like, oh, good movies are nice. It's nice to have nice things.
That kicked Exorcist Believer's ass.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And then you get this teeny tiny. It took 15 production companies to bring this thing together. You get the movie that we're talking about today.
Right. Late Night with the Devil.
With the Devil. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you know, it can be done.
Yeah.
At a fraction of the cost. You know, this movie kind of joins the pantheon of Godzilla -1, where sometimes less is more.
Yes.
And sometimes if you have people that give a shit, you can do a whole lot more, even if you don't have a whole lot to put into the budget.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to have kind of faith in the genre restored a little bit more, you know, because
this is, you know, I mean, there was a couple other horror films that came out this year. We haven't seen Immaculate yet and stuff like that, but I heard good things about Immaculate. But again, you can have a bigger budget and still be a good horror film, but it just seems like there's more independent horror films out there that just kick mainstream horror movies as asses. Mm-hmm. It just seems like it's just 70% of the time an indie horror film done right will destroy big budget. You know, I mean, we haven't seen The First Omen yet. OGP sounded like he hated it, which his review for The First Omen was hilarious.
They couldn't even do a remake of The Omen properly.
So there was a remake of The Omen?
You know, so and the sequels of The Omen weren't that great either. So
there's
it's like,
potential.
So it's like, so what are they going to do now? And that's the problem with mainstream, is that it's in the title, mainstream.
Yeah.
They have all this money backing it. Mm-hmm. And so when you have money backing it, there's more risk. And so when there's more risk, there's less potential for creativity, because you have to check all these boxes. Yes. You have to sometimes trim it down to PG-13 because you want more butts in the seats, even though it makes it a shittier film. There's so many constraints to mainstream films. Mm-hmm. And, you know, every once in a while you might get lucky and you might get something good.
Yeah, once in a while get some good stuff.
But because there are so many criteria that you have to meet to make those films, you don't get the opportunity to have something like this.
Right.
Like, what an odd concept. It's a late night talk show from the 70s.
Yeah.
With no mainstream recognizable bankable celebrities. Mm-hmm. No offense to any of these people, because they're all really good.
Well, you don't think Tom Cruise would have played Jack? Tom Cruise as Jack Delroy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's like, you know, sometimes it's all about the recognizability and the brand and this and that.
Yes.
And you don't get the greatest product out of stuff like that. And so you have to be creative. And that's what this movie, I think, really just it shines, and it's nice to see.
It makes us sigh again.
Yeah.
Like, the good sigh, the good
this
is why we love movies. Yeah. This is why we love the horror genre. And this is why this channel supports independent filmmakers and independent filmmaking.
Yeah, as soon as the credits rolled, we were both kind of like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah. Thank God. Yeah. But this kind of turned into the Exorcist Believer review, but it's kind of perfect because it's a great comparison to the point we're trying to make here.
Yeah.
So just don't buy into all the hypey hype. Go in, experience it for yourself, and let us know what you guys thought of Late Night with the Devil. But yeah, A- for the both of us. Really enjoyed it. We want to see more films like it. And thanks again for watching this video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Become a channel member for get exclusive perks. Perks. And we'll see you badasses on the next one. Take care, guys. The body and the blood. The body and the blood.